Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the 90s Doggo Podcast. And originally we were going to talk about Dune Part 2, but they took it out of theaters because we were too late to watch it. So as a consolation prize we are going to talk about Starship Troopers. Yes, a very old movie, but why? Because Helldivers 2 has been very popular lately, and as you can see there, we have been using gameplay of it for these videos as well. So that has reignited the discussion about Starship Troopers. So let's talk about it. I am here with my brother Alex.
Hello. Well, yes, I love Starship Troopers. It's a classic action movie of the 90s, and when I first saw it in theaters I was like 9 or 10 years old. Obviously, I was not the demographic, but I still love it.
Yeah, in the 90s it was very common that parents took their child to watch very violent movies that were not suitable for their age, but that was very common back then for some reason.
Yes, and we don't become psychopaths like in the church, the father, or you could say they say, you will be psychopaths and murderers and satanists, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, if you play violent video games, you are psycho, a serial killer, a school shooter, all that stuff.
Yes, así que, sorry old church priest, but I am still here, I am not in jail.
Yes.
Yet.
But
well,
anyways, that movie was very cool because it had everything. It had action, shooting, giant bugs, very ugly bugs, and death, war, everything you could ask for.
Yes, space travel.
Even teenager drama.
Yes, lot of boobs.
Yes.
But I love it. No, I don't love it. I still love this movie, and I will defend this movie because this movie, is very good. You could say. Many say this movie is a fascist allegory and all that crap, and I don't think so. I know there are still a little of it, but that just satire.
Yes, there's nothing in the universe itself that shows that the characters in the movie are fascist. They are just trying to kill evil bugs. So there's only symbolism about that stuff, like the costumes and some symbols and stuff like that, but that's it.
You could say this movie, directed by Paul Verhoeven, like all his movies like Total Recall, Robocop, or even Hollow Man, that is like a remake of The Invisible Man, have, black humor. Huh?
Yeah, and political satire, because that's his style of doing stuff, and it even has the mini trailers in.
I will buy it for $1.
Yeah, inside the movie itself for other stuff. Robocop had it, Total Recall had it, and this one has it too.
Yes, because
the only difference is that in here is clearly more aimed at political propaganda for wars and stuff like that.
Yes, and this movie is like a George Lucas movie that blends everything. You have violence, you have science fiction, you have a war movie. Is even, you could say, a monster movie with the giant box.
Like I said before, it has teenager drama.
Yes. For example, you could say the first part of the movie before the Johnny Rico, that is the main hero, you could say the movie is very light-hearted and like a teenage comedy movie.
Yeah, the starting part with the autopsy of the box is very humorous and could be something that you see in Nickelodeon, like the cool chick, smart girl goes to dissect an animal and she gets grossed out even though she's very smarty and all of that, and she vomits because she's not used to that. And the guy she likes is very fascinated because he's like a dead animal. Yeah, it's something like you can see in Nickelodeon back then.
Yes, like in Sister and Sister or The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Sí.
But anyway,
Or Clarissa.
Yes, or Clarissa. I love that series. But you know, that's only the first 20 minutes, you could say, of the movie.
Yes.
And and in this part is a little expository of the conflict.
Oh yeah, they explain you exactly how the books work. We even see in the autopsy that we just mentioned it, that these books are really strong and powerful. Each one of them is very resistant to shots, and they are built to kill, and they never give up. They're practically pure evil automatons.
Yes, you could say that, but sadly, the humans were the ones that do the first strike, you could say, in a war.
Oh yeah?
Yes, or don't you remember the part with the Mormons and all that stuff?
Yeah, but that was the first reason why the started the conflict.
Yes, because for some reason the Mormons just want to colonize another planet, and sadly that planet was inhabited by the bugs, and with that the humans declare war to the bugs.
Yes.
And that's all the
because
story.
before the big meteorite attack, they were already in war with the bugs.
Some years they were, you could
Yes.
say, before.
Yeah, it was like very normal for them to be. They even had those programs to enlist and all of that stuff because they were in war constantly with the bugs.
And infomercials
Yes.
that are, you know, like the classic Paul Verhoeven gags in his movies.
Yes, and there is also this character Carl that this is another aspect that's very interesting of the movie. He has psychic powers.
Yes, he's the best friend of Johnny Rico, you could say.
Yeah, the protagonist is Johnny Rico, and he can talk with a ferret to make him do stuff.
Carl, not Johnny.
Yes, Carl, because he has the psychic powers.
That he almost never used it in the movie, but I think that's part of the charm.
I mean, he said he was still learning, so I think it made sense that he couldn't use it all the time. I mean, this movie works very well. I think this has almost no plot holes and is a very functional movie.
Yes.
Yes, it's. I mean, even if you don't count the comedy, satire, and all of the stuff, it's still a pretty good action movie. That's just some extra stuff.
Yes, and not only Carl, they introduce the love interest in this movie. There are two, so it's a love triangle between Johnny Rico, Carmen, and Dizzy. Yes, one of the characters, her name is Dizzy.
Yeah. But yes, it is a love triangle because, like I said, teen drama. Of course, there has to be a love triangle.
Yes, so Johnny want to impress his girlfriend Carmen, so he enlists in the army to fight the bugs.
Yes, and his friends constantly made fun of him for doing that because he at first wants to keep that a secret. He's obviously not going to tell them that he joined the army just to meet a girl that's not even in the same, class.
Yes, and but sadly Carmen just want to be a ship pilot.
Yes, and Rico is the infantry,
See,
so he is the most likely to die.
yes, and you could say that Carmen is not a good girlfriend because she flirts with another guy that is like a jerk named Sanders. Obviously, just to say, in the movie, Sanders, after you know him, he's not such a bad guy like you think. He redeems himself.
Oh yeah, the movie has some subversions every now and then. Like you think that this guy is the douche millionaire guy that gets out of his way and he's a bully, but not really.
Not.
I mean, he gets in a fight with Rico at one point, but he's not constantly bullying Rico. It was more like a tease, and Rico kind of overreacted.
Well,
I
you
think.
could say the two characters were like, alpha males, and those types of person always having fights all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could say Austin St. Johnson and Jason Frank from Power Rangers.
Yes.
In real life, those two guys hate each other throat. And you could say that it's the same relationship between Sanders and Rico.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, they are rivals because he took his girl.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, he kind of starts a relationship with DC. I mean, he doesn't want it because he still wants, Carmen. So,
But this was like his best friend, you could say, aside of Carl.
yes.
And
Carl is like the Beavis and Butthead guy.
Yes, the problem with DC, you could say, obviously there is some spoiler, is that she is a little tomboy, you could say. So she was more like a part of the guys, you could say, or the boys. Like, I don't know, Elaine from Seinfeld, she didn't belong with girly other girls, you could say.
I mean, yeah, she was clearly like the tomboy. The cool tomboy that hangs out with the guys. And she prefers to be with them.
Yeah, and I think I prefer the character DC over Carmen.
Yeah.
And that's a problem in the fandom,
Yeah,
believe it
but-
or not.
I mean, yeah, because spoiler, but DC eventually dies because that's the other, subversion. The girl that first he was going to be with Carmen, but then she was later she was not going to be. So later they introduced DC, and you think that this is going to be the definitive one, and Rico is going to learn that the things that he values sometimes are in front of his eyes, and he should value that. But no, she dies.
Yes, and DC was a much better fighter than Carmen. Well, it's because Carmen wasn't a fighter, she was a pilot. But still, I don't know. You could say that Johnny Rico and a friend he has that was Ace Levy, that was like another joke in a later part of the movie, and DC were like Luke, Han, and Leia. DC was like the Leia of this movie, and they just killed her, and that was really weird or ballsy, you could say, of the director.
I mean, in the 80s, the badass chicks were very popular, like Sarah Connor and the girl from Aliens, Ripley, yes. So that the cool tomboy girl badass dies was, yes, very surprising, not expected.
Yes, because after that you will say, well, now is Carmen turned to be badass, but she becomes like a damsel in distress in the climax of the movie.
Yes.
So, well, that's about the love triangle part of the movie.
Oh yeah, but we haven't started talking about
The main conflict.
Yes, the boats, they are really well done with the, well, sometimes they are practical effects, but most of the time when they are in action, they are CGI.
Yes.
You can tell when it's CGI because they are in full view and they move around all the time, but when it is a practical effect and it's grabbing someone, it moves like a crane. Yes, then you can tell that it's not a really savage bug that moves all over the place.
And you could say that the animatronic or practical effect of the bugs are a lot more detailed than the CGI ones.
Yes, because it's very early CGI, so even though it looks very good for its time, it still has not aged that well. Oh yeah, and even the miniatures of the ships look really good, and there is also some CGI effects that look really good as well, because the miniatures are mixed with the CGI.
Yes.
It's like the special editions of Star Wars, like the ones that came in the 90s.
Yes, this movie, like I said, has a very, you could say, George Lucas feeling.
Yes.
You know, a little more raunchy or gory, but still like a George Lucas film.
Yes, and oh yeah, the special effects for the gore are really good. Like people get dismembered, their arms get chopped off, or their legs, and even at one point you think that Rico dies because the movie starts with seeing Rico, but that was like an alternative timeline because later we get to that part and Rico only gets his leg hurted and eventually they managed to rescue him and he's healing in a special
In a pot.
in a pot. It's some sci-fi thing that's fixing your leg so you can go back to
Well, it's the future, what do you expect?
yeah, but as soon as he is healed he's going to back to the meat grinder.
Yes, but back we are just, skipping most of the movie. Now, first we have the high school drama. Now, can we talk about the army time and
yes.
the training program?
Yes.
This is before the war and the action.
Yeah, this is a very iconic part because it is the part where the drill sergeant is very funny because he's actually the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Yes, and he's an asshole, but that's part of its charm, you could say.
Yes.
There is a scene when what characters say, I think that was, yes, Ace Levy, the friend that first you think he's like a bully or joke because he say, hey, it's my turn in the table to eat, and because the guy is so big, Manny fear him, but Johnny is the only one that confronts him, and after that he became his best friend.
Yes.
Yes, we could, insert the meme of the shitty new Star Wars sequels. Are we best friends now?
Yeah, but anyways,
This movie do it much better.
this is a very iconic part because they are throwing knives and he asks Hey, why are we throwing knives? In Warring we just press a button and the nuke explodes. And he says, put your hand here. He puts it and then he throws the knife and disables him with his hand. Very rogue lesson, you could say.
And medic after that, because
Yes.
you could say in this universe
Because you can't, he says, you can't press a button if your hand is disabled.
No, the point I was gonna make is in this universe you could say the army is much more cruel than the real army, because like you saw with Rico, they have like a super, no sé, medical machines that can repair almost anything.
Yes.
No?
Maybe that's why.
Except if you are dead. Huh?
Yes, maybe that's why they don't care about hurting their soldiers so much.
Yes. Like, you know, throwing a knife in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And, well, after that, Rico shows some progress, but there is a problem. In one of the trainings, when he have a platoon, you could say.
Yes,
a
they're
platoon.
training with. First, they were training with like a laser tag, but eventually they obviously have to train with real bullets.
And one of his team members was not too bright.
Yes,
And
he had his helmet stuck, and he asked to remove it to see what was the problem. And when he removed it, some chick accidentally shoots him because
blows his head.
yeah, she got shot by the robot things that they had to shoot.
And after that, obviously, they gonna fire or Rico, but to save, you could save his military career, they have to whip him with 10 whips, you could say, in
Yes.
front of all the class.
Yes, there are consequences for your actions.
Yes, that is in his power.
Yeah, but Rico got the blunt, even though he was not the one that shoot the guy accidentally.
Well, but
because-
he was the captain
Yes.
of the team.
Exactly. In fact, the chick that did that, she just went out of the military because she wanted. She-
And after that, obviously Rico is pissed because before that Carmen just dumps him.
yeah.
And obviously was for Sanders, you could say.
And until that point, he was yet not very interested in DC, and he joined the military to be with Carmen, and she didn't care about it anymore. So of course he wanted to leave. He just got a guy killed.
Yes, and he was pissed off because he just accidentally, you could say, is indirectly responsible of the death of another friend, and he was gonna go back with his parents, but sadly,
Yeah, originally his parents didn't want him to go to the military, so of course they were going to receive him with open arms.
but this is the part of character development. Just before he just go with his parents, something that is funny of this movie, Johnny Rico is supposed to be Argentinian, but he looks like, you know, a North American, because he's in this future they are the race so mixed up that they are like no race left.
Yes.
It's part of the plot of the movie.
Yeah, everything is so mixed up that everyone looks like a really diverse. Yes, but anyways, they also they kind of predicted the video calls, like the Zoom and all of the stuff. So he kind of goes in a Zoom call with his parents and tells him that he's going to back with them and everything. But then this happens, the meteorite attack.
Yes, a new meteorite of the Bugs and destroy his hometown.
Yes.
So, obviously, after that, he doesn't have any left to lose in the military and he wants the revenge of the Bugs. And now, Johnny Rico has a real reason to be in the army, not just because he just wants to impress a cute girl.
Yes.
And this is where the character grows, you could say, and becomes a real classic movie hero, and not just a brat.
Yes.
So that scene is powerful. It's one of the few scenes of the movie that is not, you could say, with dark humor or of the Paul Verhoeven humor. It's like a real serious scene of the movie. One of the few, but it's a powerful one.
Yes. And well, then it starts the first attack of the, because obviously now he wants to rejoin the army even though he was just kicked out, because he didn't want to be anymore anyways.
And after that he is now back in the army with a new and real objective, and after that he, with the other infantry, meet the cadets and pilots, and surprise, there is Carmen, and with his new boyfriend, that's Sander.
Yes.
And in this scene, Sanders and Johnny have another fight, you could say.
Yes.
But because in this universe, for some reason, the pilots of the ships are superiors and more valuable than the
I think that's just normal. I mean,
in real life.
Yes,
Yes.
I mean, infantry is like obviously
The
not.
canyon fodder.
See, the guys that die first, always.
Yes, the other are, for example, they battle in the safety of a ship. They aren't even in the planet. There are the bugs.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, but ironically, in here they are not safe in their ships just because they are above the
The stratosphere.
yeah, the stratosphere.
Well, they don't know that,
Yes.
sadly. And
Yes,
they
but-
have a hard lesson.
I mean, how do you think the books managed to destroy that asteroid and send it to Earth?
Well, in the movies, because they have, like, you could say, a giant box with ass blasters, you could say,
Yes.
and that can throw giant lasers, and that lasers destroy the meteorites, and the meteorites pass to a time warp or something like that to Earth.
Yes.
I know it's a little complicated, but it's part of the charm.
Yes, I mean, but those ass blasts, we could call them, are
Like the Tremors villains, the ass blasters.
yes, are so strong that can destroy even the entire ships. And Carmen is in one of them, and here is like the first tease that she might die, because we see they make you think that she died. And later, Rico thinks that she died, and Carmen also thinks that Rico died, because the part when in the first attack he gets hurt by one of the bugs, and he has to get. They set him up as he was dead, because.
And the last shot of him was like screaming.
Yes.
So you think he's dead?
Yes, but turns out they only accidentally set him off as he was dead, dead in action. But he was actually being just in the being healed by that machine we mentioned before. So that's part of the drama. Of course, now that he thinks that both think that the other one is dead, they start to flirt more with the other guy.
Yes, but before that I want to say something. That scene of the first attack in the planet back is an important one. Why? Because they even say it in the movie. Before that, the humans think that the bugs are just mindless, stupid animals and can't coordinate attacks.
Yes, we even see one of the, the promotional propaganda things that they are talking about if the bugs have sentience, and one lady is talking about that maybe there's a brain bug that controls them all like a hive mind, and the other guy doesn't believe her. He even says, I find the idea of a bug that can think offensive. But turns out that yes, they can make really coordinated attacks, and they manage to kick the ass of the infantry.
Yes, they are, I don't know, they aren't just like a giant lion or wolf like you could think first they were. Like just a really, like a shark, I don't know, a giant and dangerous animal. They were more than that.
Yes, they are more. One bug is really stupid, but they follow orders. Orders from a very intelligent bug, because they have a hive mind.
Yes, the intelligent bug you could say is like a queen bee or something like that, or queen ant.
Yes.
And you could say the brain bug is the main antagonist of the movie.
Yes, and for the most, they don't even know about him for the most of the movie.
Well, like in that infomercial, there is some foreshadowing of the you could say, brain bug.
Oh yeah.
And there is another part, this is more near the end of the movie, that one of the survivors that was like a general that was all jumpy and paranoid say that one of the bugs know how to use a console, a machine, and the insect was that made that you could say this skull. So
yes, that apparently they can this is a little spoiler, but the brain bug can suck the brain of the humans, but apparently can also turn them in like a zombie and can make them do stuff before killing them.
yes,
We never see that in the movie, but apparently he can do that. That's what the guy said.
yes, and the brain bug, you could say that, I know it doesn't talk like a human, but was probably much more intelligent than any human. You could say was like the Albert Einstein of the bugs.
Yes, because he has been sucking so many human brains that he became really smart.
Well, that's good. We are skipping most of the movie talking about the brain bug because he appears just in the last 10 minutes.
In the first attack, they get their ass kicked, showing that they were underestimating the bugs.
And their intelligence.
Yes, they got their ass kicked, they were destroyed, the infantry, even some of the ships, like we mentioned, were destroyed by the ass blasters.
And
so they have to think another form to attack them.
And many side characters or minor characters, but they had names and they were in many shots of the movie diet and
yes, because each bug is very strong. They need many shots to be killed. Like they even said in one infomercial, you destroy one limb of the bugs, but they still have other 5. So they are still completely able to walk and move around.
If this was...
But you have to shoot them in the nerve system to kill them.
Well,
yes.
Now you know the comparison of with Helldivers. You could say that the bugs in this movie are like bullet sponge enemies in a video game.
Yes. Unless you shoot them in the weak spot.
Yes, and because of that, after the first attack, there is a second assault.
Yes. And here the humans do a little better because now they know what they are fighting against.
Yes, and they know more of the box strategy, and there is a part that you could say there is a giant bug that is like a boss in a video game.
Yeah, the big like spider thing that can shoot acid fire or something like that.
Yes, that scene when I was a kid was the coolest shit ever.
Yes, Rico lets him go around, and he jumps in a monticle. I mean a rock, and jumps over it, and then he grabs it, shoots, makes a hole on it, and then throws a grenade.
With just the assault rifle, it was like tickles for the giant bug, but what he do is after that you see he put a grenade inside the bug,
and then he jumps out and destroys the bug.
That scene was like, when you kill a boss in Shadow of the Colossus.
I mean, yes, in some parts feel like a video game. There's even different types of bugs, one that can fly.
Yes, one that can fly, others than I are like the more classic ones I like, the Jurassic Park Velociraptors, they are quick and agile.
Yes, the ass blasters that we mentioned.
Yes, the giant blue one that is like a boss in a video game.
Yes, the ones that can fly.
Yes.
And the little ones that carry the brain book.
Yes, and I like that of the movie. The
Yes.
different box
Well, obviously,
species.
there's not enough book species for making a video game, but it wasn't intended to be a video game, so they didn't make that many. It's like how eventually
Well, there are still like 7 different bugs in the movie.
It's like the Alien franchise. Originally was like only one type of alien, and in Aliens, the sequel, they only introduced a few more. So, but it's still not enough to make a video game. So, in every video game of aliens, they have to introduce new alien species to make
Not only
enemies.
that, I remember when the movie Aliens came out, or I don't know if what Alien Free, I remember I had a toy that was the gorilla alien. It was very cool, but I haven't seen in any movie a gorilla xenomorph.
Yes, it was just to make toys and make enemies in video games.
Yes.
But anyways, speaking of toys, the Starship Troopers toys were really good.
Yes. We had some.
Yes, I remember reenacting the scene of the blue boss alien with the toys, the little like Johnny Rico and the book.
Johnny Rico was like a Mighty Max.
Yes.
A small mini figurine.
Yes, and you put it over the other and you start shooting you.
No, and I remember that the toy of Johnny Rico had a magnet, you could say, or He-Man.
Yes, to put it over that one. And reenact the scene.
And we have, like the Praying Mantis.
Yes, he also had the brain book and many of those.
Yes, they were cool.
And I mean, what else we can talk about?
Well,
Yeah, the attack that is like the attack in the base.
Yes, that's one of the major action scenes in the movie, and that scene is
Yes,
where
it's like the Hell's Deep scene of the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, in that scene they introduce the only survivor of the another attack that was a general.
Yes.
And he just dies after that.
Yes, and here there's like a ton of bugs everywhere, and many characters die, and it's very bloody and gory.
And after, and in this part, well, before that scene, they reintroduce a character that was the teacher of Johnny Rico.
Yes.
That was a war veteran.
Yes, he had the mechanical arm.
Yes. And I really liked that character.
Yeah.
He was a real badass.
Yeah, he even said that war is can be the answer sometimes when
violence is part of human nature more than anything he said.
Yes.
He wasn't
when one of the students was saying that violence is not the answer.
I don't know if you have a giant bugs that kill everything inside.
Yes, humans that want, bugs that want to destroy humans at all cost. Yes, I think that violence is the answer.
Yes, many say that character represents, you could say, that part they say this movie is like a fascist movie, but I don't know. More than that, I think they say that, you know what, the violence is part of human nature, and sometimes the dialogue is not enough.
Yes, sometimes you have to defend yourself.
For example, I don't know, this is not with the movie, but you could really, I don't know, have stop the Second World War with the Nazis just talking, like, yes. I don't know, and have a common ground. No, there are people or things that are just evil, you could say. I know this is just an exaggeration, but
yeah.
I think that's the message of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, yes, funny, people say that means that the movie is fascist because they say that violence is the answer, but guess what? What defeated the Nazis? Violence.
Yes. So, or do you think, I don't know, the ONU or another organization, they could use have a tea with the giant bugs and combine them?
No.
Please stop shooting the earth with your meteorites. Sorry, I don't think that. If not, just talk to the Mormons.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's see. The brain book is just going to suck your brains while you're trying to talk to him.
Yes.
But anyways, the general that was the teacher, before that part when they introduced the flying book, the book was killing one of the soldiers, and he kills him with one shot to symbolize.
What's a mercy shot?
Yes, to symbolize that if that is happening to me, I want you to do that the same.
Yes, because while they are mauling you, and at least don't suffer.
Yes, it is better to have the mercy kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and because of that, later the books make a hole and they grab him and destroy his leg. Yes, and then he tells Rico that he wants, you know what to do. Exactly, and he has to kill him even though Rico hesitates.
Because was his mentor.
Yes.
Was not just his teacher, was his mentor and friend, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I know this movie there is a scene with the same professor after they won their first Earth battle with the bugs, have a rugby ball and beer. This movie, for some reason, reminds me of you know, the stereotype of the space cowboys, like the movie Armageddon.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he was a cool teacher. I mean, after winning a battle, he gave them what they wanted: beer, a couple of sport balls so they can have fun, and let them have sex, play the violin.
Yes, so he was one of the best characters of the movie for me.
Yes.
Well, after he is dead, this is kind of ironic, but they out of nowhere there it comes another boss book, blue one with, and after her biggest badass moment of
Yes,
DC,
DC kills one of those ones by throwing a grenade in his mouth before it shoots the.
and
the
she
acid.
killed it much more easier and badass even than Johnny Rico. But after that, like 3 seconds after that, she's
Yes,
dead.
a generic book kills her.
Well, I think that scene is powerful because that means that the insects are really powerful. You
Yes.
know, even she has killed many, like in the movie 40 or more, but they just need to put their lancets on you and you are dead.
Yes.
Huh? You are just a human.
Yes, I mean, no matter how technologically advanced are those those spots where they put them,
If they kill you,
yes, they can revive you.
this is no Dragon Ball.
No. So yeah, that's the scene where DC dies.
Yes, and that scene pissed off many fans of the movie because DC was a much more sympathetic character than Carmen as the main
Yes.
heroine.
And in that part is when Carmen realizes that Rico is still alive. So of course, oh, now I can get back to him.
Yes, and after that, obviously they are mourning the death of DC and the teacher, teacher Raslak, but
And now-
after this,
Now comes the climax of the movie.
well, before that, we have Carl is reintroduced as a high officer.
Yes.
But he's no buddy with Johnny. He's now a cult, you could say, because he gave the order of that suicidal attack just because he wanted to confirm if there was a brain bug, and that million of soldiers that died was because of his decision.
Yes, but they managed to confirm that there was a brain bug, so it worked.
Yes, but he was an asshole. They even say it in the movie.
Yeah.
And now there is if this was a video game, this will be the final stage or final mission.
Yes.
That has...
Carmen gets again. They get attacked by one of the Ass Blaster attacks, and this time the entire ship gets destroyed, and they have to escape before it gets blown up. And
Yes.
they have to escape in a escape pod, and throws them back into the planet, and they just happen to land in the
the
nest of the brain book.
Yes, and so in this scene, you could say the protagonist becomes Carmen and Sanders,
Yes.
because they are not like a badass soldier, they are just pilots.
Yes.
So obviously them killing Kabak is much harder than Johnny, DC or Ace.
Yes, and in one part, Rico obviously has to go in a different path because he has a feeling that they are somewhere, but this is not like the Force in Star Wars. Turns out that it was Carl that gave him a message where Carmen was,
Yes.
with his telepathic powers.
but he can't risk the mission because the mission is capture the brain bug.
Yes.
And this scene, well, before the bigger entrance of the brain box, Sanders, when they are captured with the bugs, he gives Carmen a knife.
Yes.
And they introduce the main bad guy of the movie,
Yeah,
the brain bug.
Yes, the hideous book.
Yes. I know the brain bug look like a fat slug, but it isn't fat, it's gray matter.
Yes, very
Of all
smart.
the brains that suck it up.
Yes.
And it is really creepy, the brain bug.
Oh yeah, that scene is very creepy.
Yes, when I was a kid, that scene gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
And the brain bug comes for Sander, and Sander...
Yes, because, and it is very traumatic because, like we said, Sanders was not just a douchebag that you wanted to see die. He was a nice guy.
Yes, he wasn't a bad guy. He was heroic like Johnny Rico, was smart, you could say, and he even sacrificed his life for Carmen.
Yeah, he gave her the knife to protect herself.
Yes. For example, if he didn't give the knife to Carmen, Sander maybe have leave it because he would hurt the brain book.
Yes, because he gets his brain socket first.
Yes, because the brain bug has, you could say, like a horn
Yeah.
that sucks the brains of people.
Yes. And yeah, ironic that at the beginning of the movie they make that reference to if the enemy has his hands disabled, he can press the button, and Carmen uses a knife to cut the brain book is a horn.
Yes. After that, obviously, they are gonna kill Carmen, but Johnny and the others just show up with a grenade, and they say, you know what is this? Huh? This will kill you. Huh? And the brain bug is intelligent because he knows that the grenade is a powerful artifact.
Yeah, that wasn't just a grenade, it was like a really powerful bomb. Yes, it was going to destroy the entire nest that thing was activated.
So the brain bug tries to escape and
Yes.
don't fight them.
And only sends the other bugs when they are far away.
Yes, and after that, one of the friends of Johnny, that was his second in command, he wants to sacrifice to save the others.
Yes, in a heroic sacrifice.
After that, the movie is almost finished, but there is a character returning. The grill sergeant is the one that captures the brain bug.
Yes.
And after that, they capture the brain bug and want to study him.
Yes, but before that, Carl touches him and says it is afraid because they managed to capture him.
Many people think that the scene is like a gap because obviously it is with fear. You don't need to be a psychic to know that.
I mean, if the book is intelligent, it should be afraid.
And the brain bug can't fight. He's not a fighter like other bugs.
Yes.
He is like a commander. And after that, there is some infomercials, and the movie ends. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes, there is camaraderie, action, drama, humor, all the things that you like in an old school movie.
Yeah, I can see why so many people really liked the movie after they got introduced by it by Helldivers 2.
And I know why people criticize this movie, because this movie is
It's
not
cheesy.
It's cheesy. It's not woke like the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's just old school fun, you could say.
Yes.
This is like a classic Indiana Jones movie. This is the Last Crusade. This is not the new Indiana Jones movie.
No.
The Dial of Destiny and that shit.
Yeah.
It's just for comparison. I don't want this to be just ranting about woke, but I want to say I think that's the reason this movie is now criticized so much and hated.
Yes.
This is like the anti-woke movie.
I mean, most movies back then were like this. They were not woke, but yes, it is the. I think it's the fascism
Elements.
elements of the satire that people makes it hate it, because they say, "Oh, you shouldn't like this movie. It's supposed to be like fascism propaganda," but no, it does. Like we said, there's nothing in the universe itself. In the fictional universe of the movie, the characters are not fascist. They don't have that type of society. They have a lot of liberty.
Yes. And
In fact, recently I have been playing Helldivers 2, and that's a universe where there is actually more better satire, because it is in the universe itself. There is more the government of Super Earth is far more nefarious and bad than the government of Earth in Starship Troopers.
yes. So this movie is one of the best of Paul Verhoeven, and I don't know, maybe we will do another podcast, maybe about. There is even a little anime of this movie, I know.
Yes, and the CGI movies.
And the CGI movies and some movies direct to video.
Yes, but I don't think I don't want to watch the live action direct to videos. I have heard those are really bad.
Yes, but the CGI series they say is good, but age the effects a little bad. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we are done now.
Yeah, that's enough for today. Anyways, see you later, guys.